Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new week of racing action on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Tonight, Monday night, gives you the coverage of the ISRC Larry Art Productions Truck Series. Season 5, it's been incredible to watch these drivers. We've had 6 different winners so far, but tonight, race number 8, it's time to go road course racing once again for the classic Duck Wine Valley Showdown at Sonoma Raceway. As we've got a little bit of a smaller field, but still the racing action expected to be hot and heavy on who can go to victory lane here in the hills of Sonoma. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me is Zach Hall. Zach, tonight certainly should be a good one. Back to road course racing, and the strategy is certainly out there to be known.
It really is, Sam, and I'm excited for this one, man. This road course is very, very technical and very low grip, so it really takes the most out of a driver, and they're going to have to really figure out not only their strategy, but how they're going to navigate around this track for the 10 turns as they've gone back to the Cup historic layout, and I'm glad to see that. I like this layout. I think it gives a few more opportunities for some better passes to be set up, so I'm interested to see how this race is going to shake out as watching qualifying get started. This is an important time, but 10 minutes here, Sam. I think this is important too for these drivers because the road course, they need a little extra time. Yeah,
road courses, they got plenty of time to put down all these laps. They've got 2 laps to put down their fastest time, but with their 2 laps, it's got to be critical that you maximize them. You've got 10 minutes to finish out those laps, but you can invalidate a lap as quickly as you start. As drivers, got to be making sure they stay on the asphalt. If you go off course, touch any of the dirt, you will be finding yourself having a lap invalidated, and starting from the back is not where you want to be. A lot of these drivers recognizing tonight can be so critical because we're on race number 8 of 11 of our regular season, and drivers, it's time to make or break if you're going to be hitting and making it into the playoffs.
There's definitely some drivers fearing tonight, Sam, with that looming for sure, as they know they're going to need a good run coming out of this track here. And you know, the interesting thing with how this is all going to play out right here is these drivers attack this racetrack and try to put in these lap times. The cool thing about this is we're watching qualifying these drivers attack it. I don't think you're going to see many drivers driving like this when we get into this race. This track known to really wear the tires out, and I think we're going to see a ton of fall off when it comes to that tire wear. So it's going to be interesting to see the strategies with that, is who's going to really try to use up the tires at the beginning of the run and keep the track position, or who's going to give up some time and see if they can come back through, because passing at the same time is still difficult even if you do have that better tire wear.
Extremely difficult, but first lap's about to be clocked in. Who will be topping the board? First lap, second lap, drivers have been trying to figure out which one's going to be the fastest. A lot more have been trending towards that second lap as Christopher Norris top of the board for himself, but Joshua Kanata Takunamoni is going to be lying right behind. But I got to say, I think the one driver everyone has circled who just tops the board, it's Danny Cochran in the 2.
That's a blazing fast lap time and a great even lap time there from Cody Reed, who found about 4/10 for practice to go the second. But Danny Cochran with this 16:077. I was about to say, if he would have hit a 15, that would have been so impressive. We'll see if he goes for more here on the second lap, but other drivers setting up for that run.
Other drivers having struggles on their first lap. Aldi Fonseca, Eric Stamp, both having off tracks for themselves, but the hottest driver currently is the 77 of Mark Whitley. Back-to-back winner, but the first lap not going to count for himself. He went off track late in that first stint.
It's so easy to do. You talked about it earlier also. If you get any incident around here, just stick a tire off. And I mean, look how narrow this racetrack is here as we ride along board with Mark Whitley. You just dip a tire off in the certain wrong spot, you get that off-track incident, and that lap is invalidated, and you're going to start at the rear of the field. And where we don't expect to see yellows here tonight, that's a tough task to come back from. So drivers definitely knowing the desperation of at least getting one lap in.
And now, after topping the hill down through the S's, is Mark Whitley trying his best to maximize his speed and also staying in between the yellow lines is the 77. About to make the turn around turn 10. Here is the 77, an easy place to go off track where he made the mistake last lap, but keeps it neat and tidy into the braking zone into turn number 11. Mark Whitley hoping that this is a lap time that places him inside of our top 4. He was inside of our top 3 during practice, getting off the throttle, getting back up to speed. The 77 across the line, looking to be good for himself. and he's hoping again. Top 4 is the marker he wants. And for Mark Whitley, this second lap looking to be placing him hopefully up front, but it looks to be not counting again.
I think he got it invalidated again, Sam. I don't know exactly where he went off track that time, but it seems like also he lost that lap time once again. So Mark Whitley, one of the fastest in practice right there. I was excited to see him racing right there with Cochran and Trenton up front, but right now he's going to be relegated back to on the last row of the grid.
And Tyler Dangler now going to be one of the last drivers to try to put in a time, starting his first lap for the 19 machine. Will be placing himself pretty high up in the board. Expected to get a top 15 run from Tyler Dangler, currently 14th. And Zach, I think I looked back, it might have been due to the fact because he went off track right before starting a new lap. That could have been a factor on why iRacing team that next lap wasn't going to be validated.
I think you could be right about that, Sam. If you get it at the wrong timing, especially some of these tracks still have slowdowns if you go too wide. If you got to slow down at the wrong time and that was a flashing black flag as he crossed the line, that next lap wasn't going to count either. So tough ordeal there if you're Mark Whitley, but he's got 40 laps. He's just going to have to really try to charge his way through and keep his head on top of his shoulders and not get too worked up about the bad qualifying effort. But I mean, you got time, but the track position loss not going to be most likely a race winning night for him.
2 drivers still out on course with 3 minutes and 35 seconds left. It's Tyler Dangler and Ryan Ferraro. Ferraro just finished out his time, the 19, going into turn number 11, hoping to just get any advancement on their timing would be the best. Tyler Dangler 14th on the board. Ryan Ferraro did not advance the position. He'll stay in 15th. But Tyler Dangler's second lap, will he be moving forward or staying in place as across the line? And 14th was that first lap, hoping to get a little bit faster and will not. Tyler Dangler stays in 14th position.
It's so tough to pick up time on that second lap around. The tires are just already overheated, and that's one thing I think you'll talk about a lot tonight as we see these drivers fight up and down these hills in the wine country. Is you're going to be overheating these tires and really wearing them out, and they're going to have to be really working hard to figure out what type of pace they want to run once this race gets going, because the fall-offs is going to be substantial. But I think the one factor also that comes into play a little bit here, Sam, is we have some interesting weather conditions because the time of day it is. It's actually going into the later afternoon here, and we should see the conditions actually cool down more and more as we go on throughout this race.
Yeah, admins coming into this race, we're actually thinking, hey, real life NASCAR usually have the race ending into that cool down factor going into the sunset. So why not add that factor to the ISRC Larry Art Productions Truck Series? As you see the weather on screen, ambient temperature going to be 72 degrees. Track temp is 77. At one moment, even during practice, it was up to 83 degrees. So since from practice to the end of qualifying, it has already started to cool down for these drivers. Wind not very high, around that of 5 to 8 miles per hour. It's been shifting back and forth. And Zach, like you said, it's going to be the time of day that changes the most here tonight. As it is qualifying, coming to a conclusion, we got 1 minute and 40 seconds left. So we'll give a couple of shout outs to the amazing sponsors here at the ISRC Truck Series. Starting things off with the Larry Art Production. Larry Art Production is the title sponsor for season number 5. Larry Art's been helping out in so many ways to make the ISRC Truck Series be moving forward, with being race sponsor, sponsoring race teams, and now the title sponsor for the Truck Series. If you'd like to go check out what Larry Art Production's all about, well, head over to YouTube. Type in Larry Arts Production for comedy videos, variety videos, and more on YouTube. Thank you to Larry Art Productions. And with qualifying right around the corner to be over, our qualifying results going to be sponsored by Orchid Moon Tattoo Studios. Orchid Moon Tattoo Studios has a wide range of selections to help you out if you're looking to get yourself a full color tattoo, black tattoos, cut prints, paintings, stickers, and more. Go to Instagram and look up at Orchid Moon Tattoo Studios. And to finish it all out, also going to be the White Flag sponsor, also has been stage sponsor in the past. That's the Laugh Lap Instagram page. The Laugh Lap is all about memes and funny racing related content to get you through the day with a little bit of joy. And thank you so much to our amazing sponsors as we find ourselves done with qualifying. The driver's about to get gridded up and get rolling off here tonight. 40 laps is going to be the distance. stage break at the end of lap 50. 0 fast repairs, 4 sets of tires in pit road. And this is what your Orchid Moon Tattoo Studios qualifying results look like. Danny Cochran getting the pole award. The 2 machine quick at the road courses and continuing on with the trend. Cody Reed hoping for a victory for himself. He won at Watkins Glen last season. Gonna be at Sonoma here tonight. Trent Jump gonna be in 3rd. 4th goes to Ryan Bird. Christopher Morris in 5th. 6th goes to Nick Crawford. John Forbes in 7th. 8th is Joshua Kanata. Logan Breaking 9th. And 10th, GT Rizardi.
In the 11th starting position, it's going to be the 3 car of Anthony Gaudia. Alongside him in 12th, it's going to be Mason Cassidy. 13th position going to be held by the 53 of Eric Stamp, with 14th being the 19 of Tyler Dingler. 15th position is going to be Ryan Ferraro, with 16th being held by Martin Morales Jr. 17th is going to go to the 5 truck of Dakota Moniz. Alongside him in 18th, the 24 truck of Ali Fonseca. And the last row of the grid here at 19th, it's Austin Halsey. And alongside him, didn't get a lap in, it is Mark Whitley.
Mark Whitley going to be stuck very deep into the field. Drivers are getting a little bit of a driver's meeting before they roll off. They're going to be starting and doing a full lap of pacing. So we're hoping to talk to our pole sitter of Danny Cochran once they're done with this driver's meeting. But Zach, talking about this too, he has gotten the pole at every time they've been here at Sonoma, back in season 2, 3, and now here at season 5. He's hoping to get his 2nd Sonoma win if it's possible here this evening.
He has shown a ton of speed here, Sam, in the past, that's for sure. And I mean, he's a past winner here, so he knows how to get it done. He hasn't always got it done here, but he's always shown speed. And I think that's the first thing you got to have when you come to Sonoma, is the speed to keep it out front and lead the field.
Well, let's see if we can cue up the 2 as the drivers are moving along and see how Danny Cochran's going to go for a victory here tonight. The 2, Danny Cochran and Sam Zach up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. Got you, fellas.
Well, Danny, you've gotten your 3rd Sonoma pole here tonight. How are you feeling? How do you feel the truck's feeling as we're rolling in through this pace lap?
We're feeling good, man. As long as we don't get junked this week, I think we got a good shot at winning it. You know, as long as I don't get hooked head on into a safer barrier or some tire barriers somewhere, I'm feeling pretty good. Truck feels good. I think we got a good piece here tonight, and I just got to keep the thing clean and try not to blind myself coming up the hill into 1 and 2, and in the that little corkscrew there in 3 and 4. It kind of looks like you're looking at Hiroshima or something up there, but it's a little bright. But you know, we're gonna make do with it, and hopefully put this thing in victory lane for the first time in 2 seasons.
Well, I tell you what, Danny, you showed a lot of speed there in qualifying, man. That almost 115 there. How different is it though from race pace to qualifying here, because of how drastically low the grip level is here?
Dude, I was tracking for 115 on my 2nd lap, but I got loose in the 2nd corner of the chute in 6th there. But yeah, I mean, it's not a whole lot different because you don't experience a ton of fall off, at least as long as you take care of your tires. It really just depends on if you can keep the clean air. If you can hang on to that clean air, it feels just like, you know, qualifying, and you can do what you need to. It's going to be getting cooler. Sun's going to be going down. We're going to be gaining grip, so I don't think you'll see any drastic changes in it, but I mean, that's just my opinion though.
Well, Danny, we'll send you back to your team. Good luck here tonight.
Thanks, boys. Say a prayer for me.
Will do. That's Danny Cochran from Larson Line Racing. You see the drivers pacing around turn number 11, about to hit turn 12, and that means it's time for race time. Here for race number 8, the classic Duck Wine Valley Showdown is green as Danny Cochran, Cody Reed roar into turn number 1, up through the hill to turn 2, and you see them about to crest the hill.
Trenton Jump trying to take advantage of that inside lane heading up to 1, but through 2 you're going to be on the outside as it's a switch back corner. Now down to 3A and 3B. It's going to be Danny Cochran leading the way, but Trenton Jump making the aggressive move up into 2nd.
Moving up to 2nd, Cody Reed's going to have to just fall back and watch the battling. Driver goes off course, going to be drifting. I believe that's going to be John Forbes, who's still wheelman his way back onto the racing surface. Great call by the 11 to keep it off that outside wall, and now he'll have to recover, losing 2 positions for himself. Rest of the field trying to stay steady and moving forward. One driver has spun out. That's going to be Austin Halsey, who's lost a lot of time for himself. Same for GT Rizardi, but down through the S's, it's Danny Cochran leading the way as Trenton Jumps try to close in the gap.
A little bit of a melee heading up through the hill, but down through the S's now. Cochran holding on to a strong gap over 3rd, but the 2nd place gap is not what he wants to see. Is Trenton Jump all over him going into turn 11 as everybody heads to the high speed turn number 10. It's so critical to get the drive off of this corner. Is behind him. Cody Reed missing the entry. He's going to lose 2 spots in the 25 back there. So Christopher Norris and Ryan Bird both want to take free positions down into 11.
Taking the pass, taking the advantage. Cody Reed has now lost 3 positions in just the first lap alone, but it could be just a settle in. Again, 40 laps in total. We do have a stage break at the end of lap 15. No, a full course yellow will be thrown. This field, recognizing you have to take the advantage now on positions. It's going to be difficult to take those spots back as Christopher Norris, Ryan Bird getting very close with one another for 3rd place. Christopher Norris open to capitalize, got 2nd back at Mosport back earlier in the season. Hopefully he's going to have the same result here tonight as we look back from the 49th position.
Historically, this 38 has raced well on the road courses, so this is no surprise and no slouch to see him up in 4th. But Bird definitely been a driver, a newcomer this season, and I can tell you myself, raced him before on road courses. This guy's very talented at these tracks, and that's what's pushed him up to this 3rd spot, battling with Christopher Norris. But they've lost about a 2-second gap back to Cochran already in these opening 2 laps. But I want to see how much the fall is going to be. Danny Cochran talked about not seeing much. I think we may see a decent bit, actually.
Yeah, maybe not feeling a lot the first 5 laps. Could be more later on. Christopher Norris tried opportunity, wasn't able to capitalize at the apex at turn 11. Ryan Bird's going to be able to just scamper away. But further back in the field, battling side by side for 11th place, it's Anthony Gaudio and Tyler Dangler. Dangler up 2 spots. Mark Whitley already up 10 to see the 77 away.
Mark Whitley really did a great job. He got through the melee, up through the hill, and after 2 laps to be up 10 positions halfway through the field and only really 8 seconds behind the leader. I mean, yes, that's a huge gap to the leader of Danny Cochran, but he has to set his sights on something different. It's not a win he's going for tonight. He needs to just focus on every single position he can grab to better himself and hopefully maybe be in a position to never know, be in the right time.
Right time, right positioning. One driver that was not gifted that. Talk about the melee on lap 1. Austin Halsey required damage for the 4. He's in pit road trying to get that damage repaired. Logan Breakey, though, gonna be having to worry about the rear end because he's got the 77 with the heavy pressure down through the S's. And as we look back for Mark Whitley, you can see Tyler Dangler trying to find a way to close in, but Logan Breakey still trying to go for a top 10 finish. This 29 machine got his first win last season, but Zach, it's kind of surprising. 8 races in, yet to get that first top 10.
Yet to get that first top 10, but, you know, it could be right around the corner here. But unfortunately, it looks like he's going to cross back over on Mark Whitley as Whitley missed the corner trying to pass him on the inside. Now it'll be side by side right here through the kink, heading back to the start-finish line. And unfortunately, Mark Whitley will get the pass done for himself, but had a little moment there locking up that inside front tire.
And as we ride on board with the 29, get a sense of how Mark Whitley and the 11 are working through these corners up through turn 2, and you can see the rear end. These slow corners, Zach, I know that you are kind of an enjoyer of Sonoma, but this track, how difficult is it for these drivers? Because it seems like every time they're in a lower gear, it is out of control.
It really is, Sam. This is a difficult track. I got some laps in here tonight before the race, and just to get a feel of what these drivers were going to go through. And, you know, the normal conditions of what drivers talk about. Oh, man, the truck is tight, so the front tires aren't gripping. Oh, no, now the rear end's loose. It's stepping out, and you're not being able to put the power down out of these corners. That is so crucial to do. But it's just one of those situations that you have to drive the racetrack. It's almost like a Darlington, that you have to really just focus on racing your own track, because if you go out there and try to chase people down, you're just going to spin the tires and you're going to lose that grip that really just comes over time. So I'm interested to see who does it the best, but at the same time, I think Danny was alluding to the clean air being big in these trucks too. So it's one of those games where you got to weigh what you want to do, tire wear versus going out there and getting track position.
When you come to a road course, you're also expecting to race around competition. There's usually 1 to 2 drivers. You're always around, but it's rare moments when you find yourself all on your lonesome. 5 laps in, and Nick Crawford, the front pack has already gapped him. The drivers behind have already started to fall back. And right now, Zach, this 74, really not challenging anyone. He is doing what you just said, racing the track all on his own.
He definitely is. It looks like he's going for that strategy. We've seen him do this before at Watkins Glen, kind of lose that front group about 5 to 6 seconds behind him, and then just kind of methodically catch back up and almost be in the mix for a win late in that race. So he could be looking to do something similar here. And, you know, it could work out for him, but at the same time, it's sometimes you go to these road courses and you're just that driver that's in the middle area between two different groups of drivers with the pace. You know, you got the top four up front, all of them in the 116 bracket when it comes to their best lap times. From there, the only two other drivers that are in the 117s, it's been Mark Whitley and Nick Crawford. So they kind of seem like in their own little bracket while other drivers are running in the 118s. So it's something you'll see at these road courses where you have these big pods and groups of drivers, and sometimes you just have, you know, a lonely man out here just making practice laps.
Just making practice laps behind this 74. Cody Reed took the second place qualifying. And the 25's got a great battle behind him, but Zach last week got second. But right before the stage was over, caught up with an incident, was informed now, was deemed by the admins intentionally wrecked by Justin Smith. Smith was given a one-race suspension. That's why we don't see the 6 machine out there on track. And Cody Reed trying to keep up with, even with that mistake last week, coming away with second, showing some great grit by the 25, but he's got to be careful because the 3 cars behind him might be wanting to make this pass quick.
They definitely look like they want to make this pass here, Sam. As it looks like Reed, definitely an interesting pace for him, you know, with how fast he qualified. Only a 1:18.4, his fastest lap right now. Could be looking to maybe pull some strategy off. We talked about strategy at this drop of the, you know, of the broadcast here, and the fuel does play interesting. In the past, we have seen drivers stretch the full race out on the fuel. And looking at the numbers, is Kanata there wide out of turn number 10 as Mark Whitley's looking to take advantage. Now he's going to dive through the inside of Forbes here, and he's going to get 2 for 1 here down into 11. But look at the slide and look at the rubber being laid down. That's not going to be good for those rear tires later into the run. Is now Forbes better traction on the outside. He fights back as they're going to be side by side through the kink, and there's no grip out there for Mark Whitley. He's trying to hold on to this thing, Sam. As we talking strategy, they're battling.
They're battling side by side up the hill to turn number 2. Mark Whitley going to be the more preferred lane. John Forbes could be trying to go with a switchback, but instead, Joshua Kanata now going to be on the inside, setting up into turn 3 and 3A. As Mark Whitley, what a move for himself, 2 for 1. And the aggression level for Mark Whitley certainly is there. And you can tell the frustration. This is something that Mark's talked about even in previous seasons. When he is trapped in deeper in the field, his over-aggression kind of takes over from the patience mentality that you usually see when he's up front in fresh air.
It kind of does have those two different driver tendencies. When he's up front, you know, battling, he's a cool cucumber. You know, he's got a cool head. He's just doing his thing, and he's really always done a good job. But when he gets farther back, he does get a little aggressive. But I tell you what, he's done a masterful job of keeping that aggression in a bottle and nothing really coming back to backfire on him. So he's up to 7th. We'll see how long it takes him to track down Cody Reed, as Reed looks like he's definitely on an interesting pace of a run right now, as Cochran's still out front, gapping out now. Trenton jumped to about 1.2 seconds. His Bird, he looks to be maybe closing even the gap on Trenton.
Trenton Jump, currently the points leader coming into tonight's race, and the ultimate goal for the 46 here tonight, get a solid finish and expand that points lead that he has over Ollie Fonseca, Christopher Norris, and Mark Whitley. 46, Zach, I gotta say, this is looking like a phenomenal start to the season for himself. Again, missed out on the championship last season, was trying to get a second, trying to become the first driver to have 2 championships in the ISRC Truck Series. This 46 is looking pretty good in second place, but he's got to be careful as Ryan Bird is putting the pressure on.
It is definitely got a lot of pressure right now, but he's been having tons of pressure throughout the season. He hasn't cracked, that's for sure. And it's been interesting to see his growth. I mean, you watched him as a freshman here. He was a champion. I mean, came in here and really made a name for himself. His sophomore season here did not go very well. His junior year went very, very strong. Didn't end up with that championship, but we'll see how his 4th season is, as you can say, his senior year plays out, because he's leading the points right now and doing a masterful job of holding off this 49 as he's trying to put the pressure on. But you can see they're fighting for rear grip, and right now it's the driver who can manage that the best. Right now it looks like Bird has a little more.
Ryan Bird tried to get an opening going up into turn 2, didn't find it. Instead, it's going to have to just follow in line with Trenton Jump. The longer Ryan Bird stays behind Trenton Jump, it's going to close in the gap between Bird and Christopher Norris back in 4th place. And you can see that sunlight, Zach, that sun's just going to get worse and worse as the race progresses, because it's going to be lowering. It probably won't phase away until maybe the final 5 laps. So drivers are going to be critical going up through the hill in that first section of this racetrack. But Ryan Bird right on the bumper, almost making contact, slight bump, trying to unsettle the rear end of the 46 as they roar down through the S's.
They're trying to really unsettle that 46, and he could doing a masterful job right here through these S's to hold on to that. As you can see, the rear end just fighting it all the way through it. And I mean, the more these guys, stay packed up like this, the more it's letting Danny Cochran get away and letting him have a much smoother run to his race. But here's Bird. Look at the late dive here down into 11, and will jump, give it over to him. They're going to race side by side through the corner, but a little loose from the 49, almost taps with that 46, and they'll stay side by side heading down here towards the start finish line. But Bird's fighting back around the outside. They're going to head up the hill side by side.
Side by side, and they're still going to fight side by side, even through to the little kink at turn 1, up to turn 2. Christopher Norris right on the back bumper of these two drivers, and Ryan Bird sliding up, pushing the 46 into the dirt just slightly, and Norris has just watched this battle. Thought for a quick moment maybe he was going to send it to the inside. Instead, continues to watch the battle as Jump holds on again for second place.
Man, oh man, that just shows you the fight in that 46, holding on to that position. He could have just rolled over and handed it to him, but he fought tooth and nail to hold it. But I tell you what it did. It lost this group about 2 seconds to Cochran. It was a 3-second gap the lap before. Now almost 5 seconds as they head down the hill towards the S's.
And the more that they battle, they've already collected Christopher Norris into this small little group. Well, it's soon to be turning into a pack because even Nick Crawford is closing in on this group. They've got to make this pass quickly if you're Ryan Bird and Christopher Norris, because the longer you stay behind Trenton Jump, the more you're going to lose time to Danny Cochran. Or could this be a tactical play as Bird, once again, trying to find an opening and just going to allow each driver to run their own lane? Now it's Christopher Norris putting a little bit more pressure on Ryan Bird.
This is tough for Bird because he was on the attack. Well, now he's on the defense here as the 38 has closed the gap. He's on that back bumper as they head up the hill, and Jump now he can take a little bit of a breath as he's built about a 0.6 of a second gap there. But again, these drivers are all so close on pace. I think it's just going to bring them all together. And like you said, it's brought Nick Crawford even into the playing field. He's right here about a second back off of Christopher Norris. So it's definitely tightening up for the second position on back, but it just allows Cochran to have that much more patience for him as Trenton Jump misses the corner there. And now he's back onto the surface as now the 49 is going to have a perfect opportunity down here.
Another chance diving it down low. Going to be trying to stay right on the rumble strip, side by side, entering the S's. Saying side by side isn't the safest thing to do. Ryan Bird makes contact, slipping and sliding, and spins it out. Trenton Jump goes into the dirt, losing 3 positions. And the aggressive driving conquers if we're Ryan Bird, but disappointment to Trenton Jump.
Oh man, that's some hard racing between those two, and I think Jump felt like maybe he was going to clear for a second. I don't know if Bird jumped off the curb and clipped into the back bumper, but that was just hard racing between those two that unfortunately ended up spinning Trenton Jump. And fortunately for him, the gap was big enough in between there to where he's only 3 seconds behind this group. He still has an opportunity to get to him. The other thing, though, is luckily no damage, but you can see him going around right there, Sam. Luckily for him, mostly just the sand and a little bit of damage to the left rear.
Here's a better look at it. They were side by side, and Ryan was going to be hitting the bumper, and then it kind of launched him across, spinning out the 46 as now we are, I think, a full lap back from the incident as we have really gone back into the race. And currently right now, with all the battling that was happening, Danny Cochran back to Ryan Bird, first to second. It's now ballooned out, Zach, to 7 seconds as you see that crossover, just every possible contact that could have happened, Ryan Bird made to the 46.
Oh, man, that was, yeah, I mean, it was just 2 drivers fighting from the same real estate on the racetrack and coming together right before the S's. That could have been huge for guys like Christopher Norris and Nick Crawford who could have got into it, but luckily for their sake, Trenton Jump just kind of spins off the track onto the sand there to the inside of the S's, and everybody's able to escape by. But like you said, they lost a ton of time even just with that, having to check up.
And as you're seeing the battle for second, third, fourth, there's other battles that are crucial on track. Bonus points on the line. Stage break at the end of lap 50, but there will not be a full course yellow. These stripes will continue to stay green. So whoever crosses the line in the top 10 at the end of lap 15 going into lap 16 will get bonus points. And Logan Brakey currently in 10th position, but he's got 3 drivers behind him looking quick. And so the fastest of the 3 is going to be Anthony Gaudio, Tyler Dangler, and it's the 19 that is looking mighty fast for himself in 12.
He definitely is. Still running at 119 there, is a couple tenths faster than Gaudio, and about the same match there with Brakey. So this group very, very competitive when it comes to lap times between them. We'll see if Brakey can hold on, and you know the caution's not coming, so you can't make too big of a risk here for this, you know, these stage points, but they know how valuable each and every point is, especially for Brakey, who's really been trying to get his season on a roll here.
He certainly has been trying to, and for Logan Brakey, this is one of those races where, again, still looking for that first top 10 finish, and this is his best opportunity so far, but he's racing around drivers he's been around all season long with Anthony Gaudio, and especially Tyler Dangler. The 29 and the 19 kind of turn into a laughing matter whenever they're around one another of, hey, when am I going to see you during the race? Because it's mostly going to happen as Tyler Dangler setting up for the 3. Got a massive run out of turn number 10, side by side, and it's Tyler Dangler not able to make the move. Instead, he'll do a switch back. Got to be careful of the barrels as the 3 defensive plays by Gaudio.
Definitely a great job by Gaudio to defend the inside. That's the dominant lane there in 11. You really just have a much better job of getting down the track there if you can get off that bottom side, as Mason Cassidy was able to watch right behind this in the 13th position. And you know, that's a good position to be in for him, because right now it's about 4 seconds back to Morales behind him 14th. Cassidy can kind of just ride here and let these guys fight it out for that final few points there, and if they get into it, he could be the driver that steals it late here.
And Mason Cassidy, gotta say for the 17, he has been doing a great job these last couple of weeks. He's on a 2-race top 10 spree, finishing 9th at Darlington and 9th at New Hampshire. Yeah, go back past that, his best finish was 17th. Really has been doing a great job elevating his racing, his 17 machine. We look back 14th though, and it's Martin Morales being challenged by Ryan Ferraro.
Yeah, being challenged for sure. Seems like, again, these pods you get at these road course races where drivers just group up together that have similar pace. This is one of those pods again right here in the 14th, 15th, and 16th position, is Morales really trying to hold on to his car through the S's. His stamp is watching these two get closer and closer. And again, it's always awkward when you're the third car in the battle. You kind of just wait for the driver ahead of you to try to make an opportunity to maybe open up the door for you. It'll just make passes easier. Moniz right here, almost locking up into 11.
Toyota Moniz trying his best to just roll around this race best that he can currently. And honestly, this has been a tough race for some, even for those even deeper in the field. For Chiqui Rosari and Ollie Fonseca, both have been just trying to stay on the track surface as much as they can. With 14 part of the drivers that were caught up in that initial lap 1 incident, there's some pretty heavy front end damage that the 14's been dealing with on that front splitter. But besides that, it's just been hold on for dear life.
Definitely a good little bit of nose damage, like you said there, for the 14, Sam. So tough break for GT, was involved in that first incident, but just making laps to this point and trying to maybe salvage some points by the end of this 40-lap event here tonight. Is not going to be able to get stage points for himself by the end of lap 15 here, is when we'll be having that stage in as the drivers cross the line next time. But it's still something you can make up, as the 24 Fonseca right here also back in this group.
Able to make the passes, and Danny Cochran has crossed the line, winner of stage break here tonight. And the battle for 10th place was battling on. It looks like Logan Brakey will hold off. So our top 10, Danny Cochran first, second goes to Ryan Bird, Christopher Norris gets third, fourth goes to Nick Crawford, Trent Jump gets fifth, Mark Whitley sixth, just getting by Cody Reed in the last lap. Cody Reed will fall to seventh, eighth is John Forbes, Josh Conata ninth, and Logan Brakey taking the final stage break position. Big thanks to our stage break sponsor, being Team Watson Racing Setups. Team Watson Racing Setups, a helper of this league when it comes to finding out track setups at road courses that traditionally the trucks don't go to. And if you're looking to find the best setups for yourself at open events on iRacing, go to teamwatsonracingsetups.com to get your setups today. As we're seeing Mark Whitley moving his way forward. Now his next target is Trenton Jump, 5 seconds ahead.
Good pace out of Mark Whitley here too for being up 14 positions now, getting by Cody Reed. He's opened up a little bit of clean air on the nose, and only 3/10 to only about 2 even tenths slower than Danny Cochran and quicker than every single driver ahead of him the last time by. So this 77, don't count him out for still a second place finish. He's about 10 seconds behind Ryan Bird, but I'm telling you, with the pace he has, we've got plenty of time here. He could put himself right up in the mix, especially with some clean air on the nose.
Also, want to make a change on one of those statements I said. Logan Brakey actually is trying to go for his second top 10 finish. I got him confused with his other teammate of Eric Stamp, who is still searching for his first top 10 finish of the race. Mark Whitley, though, up front, running well as we're closing into halfway. Zach, I think this is kind of that talking point that we were thinking about, pit stops. Who is willing to come into pit road to take the tires, as some of these drivers are already 2 to 3 seconds slower than their fastest lap?
Exactly. I mean, you know, we talked to Danny. He talked about how he didn't think it was going to be too much fall off, but we're nearing almost 3 seconds of fall off from these tires, and I'm questioning when these drivers will pit. I think you're going to see a lot of them pit around the lap 20 marker. Looking at the fuel coming in here tonight, doing a little bit of calculations, especially just from race pace, looked like you could go about 37.5 laps at maximum for a lap. And it looks like we do have a pitter. It looks like Ryan Bird, he's going to take the early pit stop. So first of those drivers, as we talk about, are going to hit pit road in the 49. But back to the fuel mileage, about 37.5 laps. And that's at, you know, a good fast race pace and from a fast truck up front turning good lap times. Now, if you're trying to save some fuel, we could see some driver maybe try to stretch out that 2.5 to 3 laps of fuel and try to run it to the end of this race without pitting. I don't think it's going to be beneficial though, Sam, with how much tire fall we're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, especially on the fact that this race, this track is a little bit less than 2 miles in distance. That means you've got to figure out how to save 6 to almost 7.5 miles of fuel. It is doable, but who's willing to take that risk? As like you said, Ryan Bird, first driver to come into pit road. He is now exiting pit road from up front in second place. He falls all the way down to 15th. And one of the trouble spots if you're coming into pit road is how do you maximize the tire wear? Because now you're so deep in the field, you've got to make passes with some of this traffic.
You really do, and we'll see how Ryan Bird navigates this. This is crucial for the undercut strategy that Ryan Bird is playing. He's not worried about Danny Cochran. He's not trying to go get the win. He's about 8 seconds behind him. Cochran's going to have some major hiccups for allowing Bird to get into that battle with him. But I will say Bird is thinking about Norris, Crawford, and Jump, and possibly even Mark Whitley for this race to defend them. So he goes with the early stop strategy. Looks like maybe is that Danny Cochran?
That's Mark Whitley.
No, it's Mark Whitley. So another taker here. I'm not surprised to see Whitley doing this. He can get a little bit of an undercut here on these drivers too up ahead of him, because again, 3 seconds of fall off here we're seeing from some of these drivers. That is a ton of time to be gained. Every lap you stay out longer than him, you're going to lose 3-4 seconds a lap to Mark Whitley. So we'll see how it works out, but do you have enough tire to defend them when they come back around?
I think this is a great decision by Mark Whitley to come into pit road. As you're seeing the teammates driving around one another, Christopher Norris, Nick Crawford, these two made it to the Final Four last season. Hope to see one of them go for the win and get the championship, and it went to Nick Crawford. Norris, though, could it be a different mindset? Maybe thinking this is his season, because the first 4 races of the season, Christopher Norris' average finish was a 2.3. It was incredible how consistent he was when on vacation, but he's been trying to come back into the point standings here, Zach. He's currently 3rd, even with missing a race.
That's so impressive for that 38 team. I mean, to miss a race and still be in the battle for almost the points lead, that's got to be a great feeling. As right now, pit road getting busy again. The 38 on pit road and the 74 here right before the halfway point. Not too surprised to see this.
Into pit road, getting service done. Trenton Jump also going to be following suit. Here comes John Forbes into pit road. Teammates with Christopher Norris and Nick Crawford of Snowy Desert Racing, getting their service done for themselves. Other drivers deeper in the field. GT Rosario got into pit road. With 4 drivers pitting now, at least Danny Cochran leading this race for the 2, and Cody Reed 23 seconds back from this 2 machine.
23 seconds back, Sam, and that's That's interesting to see. I mean, we're seeing the other drivers hit pit road and come out a decent bit behind Cody Reed. So if Reed is on the drivers that maybe is looking to run it out here, if he stays out, he's gonna have about a 5 to 10 second gap on this two. That's gonna be tough to hold that back off. But we'll see what he has for overall positioning wise if he does look to stay out. But looks like Cochran wasted no time. Right at halfway, he's coming down.
Pit road for the two machine. Other drivers deeper in the field coming into pit road. Going to be Dakota Moniz as well as Martin Morales, Tyler Dangler getting service done for themselves. Still waiting for Cody Reed, Joshua Kanata, Logan Brakey, Anthony Gaudio, Mason Cassidy to make their stops. If they decide to make their stops, other drivers, Eric Stamp, Ryan Ferraro, and Ali Fonseca yet to come into pit road. Danny Cochran making this pit stop. He's hoping to get into victory lane. Zach comes into the night 18th in points, and with some of the struggles in the lack of races left in the season, the two needs a solid day as Cody Reed makes the pass and wants to lead a lap.
Here we go, Cody Reed to the lead now. What does he like to do? And huge day it could be for Danny Cochran if he gets this win, but what will the gap be? Cochran now just leaving his box, just going into turn number 1, and Reed going to have only an 8-second gap back to Danny Cochran on fresh tires. So if Reed is looking to stretch the fuel out, it's not going to be for winning position because it's going to be tough to hold back those fresh tires.
Maybe a top 5 finish if you're lucky, because that is a massive gap. Eric Stamp, Mason Cassidy, and Joshua Kanata now into pit road to get service done. And I would imagine if you were Cody Reed, you were thinking, okay, I'm going to save enough fuel and maybe I'll have a big enough gap. I'll have 15 seconds, potentially maybe 20 if you're lucky, but only to have 8 seconds over Danny Cochran. I don't think the 25 was expected to be that small because it's already dwindled to almost 6 seconds already.
That's demoralizing, Sam, for sure. I know Reed probably came here thinking, man, if I can just stretch this fuel out, run a good, decent pace, I should be able to, be in good position here to win this thing. But Cochran's pace has just been so fast that it doesn't matter. I mean, to Bird, he's got a 14-second gap back to what would be the second place if it all cycles through. We still got Brakey and Gaudio, who I think just hit pit road in the 3 along with Brakey. So, yeah, he'll be the only driver other than Ferraro and Fonseca to not yet pit, and we'll see if he elects to stay on this strategy. But for Reed, I think he was kind of set on this, especially with the pace he ran at the start. I mean, qualified at a 16.4. His best lap in this race at 18.4, so 2 seconds off his qualifying time. That is definitely, I think, some saving from this 25 team.
Man, I'm curious, Zach, would that audible call be even worth it at this point? Based off of the amount of time that he's given up, would he think about making a pit stop, or is it just guns out, I made my decision, I'm staying out?
I think he's already made his decision now. It's 22 laps in. I mean, he can do it, but he's lost so much time to the drivers ahead of him through the saving of the first run that I just think he's got to stick it out now and just see where it plays out for him. I mean, at the end of the day, right now he's got 25 seconds back to Mark Whitley, who he was battling right up to that point, right before Whitley got past him for Whitley to pit. If he can hold Whitley off at the end of the day, it worked out for him. I mean, he was ahead of the driver that he was racing around, but still probably going to be saying what could have been if he just raced it out at 100%.
2 seconds is the gap as Danny Cochran crossed the line for himself. Just put down his fastest lap of the race out of anyone, a 1:16.686. And if you compare that to his qualifying time, that's just 2/10 slower is Danny Cochran with that fastest lap he just put down.
So impressive to see from this 2 team, man. I'm telling you what, that's a burner of a lap there in the race time, especially. So he's definitely putting on a show for us and driving right up to him. And I mean, hey, only a measly 4 seconds faster than Reed the last time by. I don't know if this pass is going to be too hard for this 2 truck once he gets right up to the back bumper here. Probably heading down to 11. He should have this pass done and dusted, and maybe even before that.
I think the hardest thing might be the closing rate. How do you predict being over 4 seconds faster than the driver in front of you? It's going to be a lot of letting off, trusting, and hoping you don't run over the driver as Danny Cochran gets the run out of turn 10. Down below, Cody Reed gives plenty of space. as the two are braking zone, but the grip's too strong. Already done and dusted. Ramps it up, and the two back to the point where he's feeling the most comfortable.
That's got to be so demoralizing for Reed, who just did that strategy. Just looks like he's going to continue to stay out. It's just not falling his way for that, as you're going to get past 3 laps into the run of having the lead. So tough for him, but he's got to focus back here as Ryan Bird. He looks like he may be getting ran down by Nick Crawford, who elected to stay out extra 2 laps.
Having those extra tires can be critical for this run, and Ryan Bird in 4/10 slower than Nick Crawford, and as well 6/10 slower than Christopher Norris. 49's got to be defensive and figuring out how to hold off the drivers behind them, if it's even possible at this point. Update for the field: everyone is coming to pit road at least once here tonight, except for Ollie Fonseca and Cody Reed. And it looks to be both drivers going to stick to their guns on that. Ollie Fonseca, I love his call of an audible of staying out because of how deep he was in the field. This could be the best way for him to salvage. Ryan Bird at this current moment down through the S's, down the hill. It looks to be Nick Crawford still closing in on the gap.
Nick Crawford definitely closing this gap down here, Sam. Will he be able to get around Ryan Bird, who's been very strong at defending and making passes as they had contact with Trenton Jump earlier in the race? Definitely a driver that you gotta be aggressive with, but he's gonna be aggressive back with you. So we'll see how it works out between these two as they come to start finish line. Crawford just seems like he has a little bit better drive off. Those newer tires are going to continue to show their head more and more here, especially if Crawford just kind of waits it out and plays the long game on it.
And even with seeing this gap dwindle away for third and fourth, they are still closing in quite quickly to Cody Reed. But I'm curious on how that changed. Is there going to be a plateau phase that Cody Reed's banking on that we might see from these new tires to the old? It's going to be tough for himself, but Nick Crawford, not the best exit out of 3A, but down into turn number 4 over the rumble strips. And those rumble strips, Zach, not the safest in the world. Other drivers deeper in the field have already had troubles with them. Ryan Ferraro back on lap 10 found himself slipping around, and others as well, hoping to find some clarity.
These curbs can be so easy to make mistakes on. I mean, you want to use them. You'll see, look, Trent jump in there, using the left front, the right front on each of these curbs through the S's. But you got to be very precise. If you overuse the curb, bottom out the truck, or jump the truck, almost monster trucking, as they would say, you will not have a good day. And there's plenty of curbs around here that can cause that issue. So we'll see which drivers run into those issues, but we'll see who navigate over them. As Jump right now trying to run down this group ahead of him on the same lap tires there as Nick Crawford and Norris.
Trying his best. We will see very shortly. Can Trenton Jump closing the gap, or will he just settle for a top 10 finish? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining with us. We are going to take our one commercial break of the race. When we come back, we'll give you more coverage of tonight's run. Race number 8's been a good one so far, as you're watching the ISRC Layer Productions Truck Series for the classic Duck Wine Valley Showdown here at Sonoma Valley. Welcome to the end of the race. We'll be back right after this. They're 5 wide behind for fifth.
Oh my, the 5 wide here, this ain't gonna work. They make it last, bumping and banging to the end. They're beating banging for the lead. Sora still with the shot here, coming off a 4. That's it.
It's bottom line, here it comes. Oh no, Carter gets wrecked. It's gonna be that Nick Crawford. The 74 gets through somehow, and they just completely demolish one another. Trinity driving down low, drifting up, trying to be the stealer. Here he comes, Cedric Hunter. He does it. He steals it.
But he somehow drove it into the corner to wreck it.
Oh, they wrecked! They wrecked each other! The top two bounced into one another. Just too much of side drifting off of, and they gotta be careful. Oh no, the 4 demolishes in the 28. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Cody Reed has been caught. The old tire staying out as long as he can. The strategy called to stay inside of the top 5. Well, it's now come to a head. How can the 25 hold off Ryan Bird, Nick Crawford, and Christopher Norris? Let's find out. As the 49 not able to set up for the pass just yet, but aggressive moves all around as Cody Reed holding off Ryan Bird, helping out his teammates, but it's Nick Crawford going around for the 74.
Oh, bad traction on the exit, and when you get up on that high groove, it's easy to spin the tires out. Nick Crawford with the simple mistake as Bird being aggressive here, knows he needs to get around Reed. He has a bunch of hungry drivers right behind him, and Reed here just trying to hold on for everything he has.
Cody Reed might not have the strategy to win the race, but right now could have the strategy to help his teammate advance into second place. Christopher Norris hoping his teammate can find another way to just block the 49 and give any type of opening for the 38 machine who runs in fourth. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, you're on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, watching the ISRC Larry Art Productions Truck Series. My name's Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall. And Zach, it has been a closing game of who can catch up to Cody Reed. He is one of 2 drivers deciding to stay out on track and not come to pit road. All you can take is the other one in 16th position. This 25 is trying something that hasn't been done since season 2 when Danny Cochran stayed out to go in victory lane.
He's trying everything for sure. I mean, he's got to battle these guys and save enough fuel to make it to the end of this race and stretch out, 6-7 miles that he's got to do. And he's done a good job of defending so far, but here comes Bird sticking his nose up the inside here on the late exit, but I think Reed's going to have the power out the corner, going to clear him, but heading to the start finish line. Bird might look for a quick drop to the left here and to the inside. He's going to head up to the hill here with this inside lane.
Going to be given an opportunity. Christopher Norris is going to give in space for Cody Reed, recognizing the situation, but Norris, tap, get out of the way. The 38 was hoping to grab second there, but Ryan Bird takes the punishment and able to hold straight. This 49 is doing a great job with all the times that Christopher Norris has been trying to bump him and just move the 49 at times. He's done a great job to hold off, but as they've been battling, Trent Jump and Nick Crawford are coming back into this fight.
It has brought all of them right back into it. You thought Nick Crawford was done with that almost spin? Well, he's right back into it. Same with Trent Jump, who was on the same tires here as Christopher Norris. Maybe he's saved a little something this time to run back down there. And remember, him and Bird got into it, so maybe we could see some fireworks fly between those two. But at the moment, right now, Christopher Norris still trying to put the pressure on Bird as Trent Jump trying to close down the Reed.
Christopher Norris battling for second place once again, right on the back bumper, and he's got an opportunity to dive down low. Going to be side by side going down into turn number 11. A deep dive for the 38, almost contact as Christopher Norris keeps the grip, finds the grip, but they stay side by side. It's the 49 with the better launch out of the corner. Here we go, Zach, almost a squeeze as Ryan Bird looking out of control for a second.
These two race hard at Mossport, and they're doing the same here up the hill inside Bird. He's going to take advantage of having that inside lane. But here's going to be the switch back for Norris. Just cannot get the drive off of turn number 2, heading down here towards 3A and 3B. What does Christopher Norris do to set him up? That was a great job of driving for Ryan Bird to get back ahead.
even with all the fighting that goes on, they're losing time to the drivers behind them. Cody Reed, if he gets out of the way for Trenton Jump, might give a chance for Jump and that of Nick Crawford to get back into the fight for second. Cody Reed has to stay high, expecting to get really out of the way. No, he's going to fight right on back to Trenton Jump. He's 25, not wanting to lose any position, just easily. Top 5 position is what he wants to hold on for, but now he's going to be slowing down his teammate as they go down through the S's.
So impressive from this 25 to be holding off still this well. We'll see how long does he fight his teammate. I don't think he'll fight Nick Crawford too hard here, knowing that it's inevitable at this point and just needs to make good lap time, as Nick Crawford missed turn 10 there, and he's going to lose a good bit of time. So now Cody Reed just going to hold on.
Cody Reed's going to be the hold on, and now this allows the 25 a little bit of breathing room, find some extra speed if it's there, cool off these tires for a lap or two, and maybe be able to fight back, but it's going to be almost impossible at this point, as the rest of the field only on 12 to 14 lap old tires, while Cody Reed is on 32 lap old tires, 9 laps to go, as Danny Cochran is in a very comfortable spot. The only thing that the two's worried about is lap traffic currently for Danny Cochran.
That's really the only concern for him, for sure, Sam. You can see right ahead of him, that is his teammate, Ali Fonseca, who is also in the same strategy as Cody Reed, yet to pit. Don't think Fonseca's going to hold him up too bad. And the other thing is, Danny Cochran, with a 15-second gap like he has no rush and no concern about, being held up here. He really just needs to be methodical and make sure his teammate feels comfortable and doesn't want to, make sure he makes any mistakes. As I think even the second place position heating up as there's contact back for second.
Contact is Ryan Bird trying to once again, holding strong every time. Christopher Norris just gives a slight bump, gives a slight bit of the brake to make sure the rear end is squared, and he's not losing any more time than he has to, as Christopher Norris tries once again, another tap trying to get the rear end squirrely off the exit, and Ryan Bird holds for another lap.
This has been an excellent battle for second position all race long. Danny Cochran, he's been in his own race. He's been so fast, but these guys right here have all been so evenly matched. It's just who can manage the tires the best, who can keep the heat underneath them. And you got to give Bird credit, did the undercut 2 lap older tires on this 49, but he's been able to hold them off to the point where now all these drivers just suffering from hot tires.
They're suffering from hot tires, but the driver that's hottest right now, Trenton Jump, just put down the fastest lap of anyone on track currently. Again, that is just based off the last lap comparison to everyone else. This 46, he recognizes, okay, if Ryan Bird, Christopher Morris continue to fight the way that they've been, I still have a chance for at least a top 3, let alone a second place finish.
He very well does. This is impressive at 1873 last time by. That is really flying. I mean, that is almost a second faster than the 2 ahead of him. And if he can have that type of pace, he can go up here and challenge. And again, cannot forget, the 49 and the 46 kind of had their little mishap there in the S's. Maybe if that 46 gets to him, I don't know how much patience he'll have for that 49 machine.
And finally able to get by Cody Reed for 5th place is Nick Crawford. Crawford has been slower than all the other drivers. How much is that going to be helping for himself on this push as we ride on board? Get a sense again, Ryan Bird hunted and hounded as Christopher Norris. You see the blinding sunlight and a chance to the outside. Quick inside move. Turn 2. It's going to be on the outside groove for the 38. Ryan Bird slides up just barely enough space for himself. And now Norris trying to close in the gap. And Ryan Bird's got to be careful because Trenton Jump, remember, found himself getting spun around with the front bumper of Ryan Bird. Could Trenton Jump be trying to get some retaliation here?
He is here. Trenton Jump is loving what he saw. He needs to get around Norris here. He's going to dive off this corner. And look, Christopher Norris, he's going to let him go. I think this might be a smart decision.
Let him go. Let him fight it out. These two have been bickering for a while. Why not let another driver have a chance at this? And we've seen this a lot here in the ISRC Larry R Productions Truck Series, where it's always the lead driver being pushed by not just one driver per stint, but it's usually 2, 3 different drivers swapping back and forth and making the lead driver use up their tires dramatically worse than everyone else in the run. But with 5 laps to go, can Trent Jump rattle the 49 enough to make that pass for second?
Here we go, Sam. This is going to be fun to watch here in these final 6 laps here. Can you hold them off? It's going to be tough because, Jump, he is going to be sending it when he gets any type of run, and it's going to be fun to see where he can make these passes. Because, again, a tough track to pass. Norris, I feel like, has been quicker than Bird. It's just Bird has done a good enough job to be fast enough in the right spots of the track and just making it very tough on everybody to get around him.
Yeah, I mean, it's the corners that he's set up to go into a hard braking zone where he's able to gap just enough so drivers don't have that opportunity. But Ryan Bird down into turn number 4. It's a good exit for himself over the rumble strip, since that seems to be the trouble spot for Trenton Jump. He's been going a little bit too wide, but here's the first chance. Contact to the rear quarter panel, and Ryan Bird defends again. The barricade continues to hold.
Oh, man, this is starting to heat up even more as they head down through the S's. Big run, actually, even for the 46. He got closer, lost a little time over the crest of the S's, but here heading back down towards the pass, turn number 10. And I tell you what, they're going to set up for a hairpin that could be wild. His jump a little loose. He cannot lose too much time. He needs to be on the back bumper.
5 laps to go. Danny Cochran's gap up to 17 seconds, but it's about who will get second, third, fourth. The battle of the 3. Ryan Bird, Trent Jump, Christopher Norris are the 3 drivers to watch out for. And if they start to slow down in any fashion, Nick Crawford, who's 3 seconds back, really not a factor at all, so they can bicker as much as they want without worrying about falling outside of the top 5.
And lap traffic right here in front of him. Ali Fonseca, it's going to stack up here. Sam heading down to 3. What is Trent Jump going to do? He's right on the back bumper of the 49.
Right on the back bumper and almost shoving Ryan Bird up through 3A as they thunder down into turn number 4. Heavy braking zone with the 46 diving down low. No, the defense decides to stay in line and setting up for turn 7 before the downhill climb. Trent Jump right there down below. Contact bumps him out of the way. Jump, Norris, they're through. Bird trying to hold, and he'll bump the 38 wide as it's a similar situation as earlier. Christopher Norris, Ryan Bird continue to stay side by side. The 49 slipping and sliding. The lap car puts the pressure, and Bird losing 2 positions.
They are getting their elbows out. That was some hard racing there. Trenton Jump making sure the 49 didn't make the corner there. He said, "You're not turning in, buddy. I'm making this corner and I'm making this pass." And that was definitely a thought back to the pass there for Trenton Jump. But hey, he's up to second now and he's trying to scamper away as Christopher Norris has been on to get the third there with all that action.
And with 4 laps to go, he can now no longer afford a driver to say, "Hey, I'll let you go to the run down the driver in front of me and maybe cause a bigger wreck to advance in position." Instead, it's all about your raw speed. What do you have left in the tank? Is there enough grip to fight for these positions? As Trenton Jump trying his best to get second place, but deeper in the field, you're seeing drivers making move. That's Nick Crawford getting by the lap car of Ali Fonseca. And with all those bumps moving around, Nick Crawford did gain a second on those drivers battling for second, third, and fourth.
He really did. And I mean, hey, with Ryan Bird's loss of time there, he still has the opportunity to drive up here and get that 4th position. But you can see, look how dim the lighting is getting, and it's probably getting tough for a few of these drivers out there to see.
It certainly is. The main factor when you're seeing the loss of really visitation of us visuals is going up the hill into turn 1, 2, 3, and down into turn 4. Those are the critical spots. It's mainly in turn 3 and 2 that you're having the worst visibility. But Trenton Jump running well, and if you want a chance to see how bad the visibility is with 3 laps to go, Christopher Norris might be the best shot as he's trying to set up the pass here on Trent Jump. Hard into the braking zone. Little bit of a tap to the rear end of the 46. And this battle is not over yet as we go for 3 more laps. Let's see how bad the visibility is for these drivers.
Heading up here across the start finish line. Look at the sun just blaring right there across your screen. And you're going to head up here to turn number 1, hit the entry curb there, and get to the right here. This is all what you need to do is have power off of here. But again, the sun blinding you as you head down towards 3A and 3B. And this is a good corner to set you up for the next section of the track where passes are available.
And then finally, out over the crest of 3B, the sun is gone, and you get a little bit of a rest before you start another lap. But you've only got a couple of more to go. For Danny Cochran, he's in a comfortable spot. Almost 20 seconds is the difference for this great battle that's been going on for second place. Christopher Norris right on the back bumper. He's trying to set up to make a pass at the bottom of the hill. It's the 38, weaving back and forth through the S's, down the hill. I mean, Zach, there's just a couple of more opportunities. And for Christopher Norris, if he's going to make this pass, it might be here for turn number 11.
it really might be his best opportunity, Sam, and we'll see what he's able to do here. As they're going to be coming to 2 to go this time, sliding out of turn number 10. Not going to be close enough, I think, but he's going to be able to put pressure on, and that's the key. It's all about putting pressure where you have to put the power down, and this is so tough. This late into the run, it is just tiptoeing out of that final one.
Top 3 drivers all on similar sets of tires. Ryan Bird's got 2 lap older tires than anyone up inside of our top 5. Cody Reed still yet to come into pit road, but he's surviving the best that he can for 6th over Mark Whitley. But as Trenton jump, Christopher Norris, the duel that they had, thinking back to the final 4, a little bit of bickering moments for who was going to win a championship. It ultimately went to Nick Crawford, but Jump and Norris have had some great duels in the road courses. And here we go again, down into turn number 4, 38, almost thinking about giving a tap, but down into turn 7 might be the first opportunity of just 3 more left here tonight.
I actually had a fond memory of these two coming together at a Sonoma race in the past, especially coming right down to the end there on the front straightaway. They had that incident. I don't know if these 2 drivers are having that run through their head right now, but I will tell you they're focused right now because every little corner they're hitting great apexes, but it's going to be how close can you stay in 10. If you can stay close here, it gives you opportunity 11, but again, Christopher Norris missing turn 10 and just losing the nose.
It's your lap, the final lap. Danny Cochran has been dominating. He got the pole. He was the fastest during practice, won the stage, and he has been the driver to watch out for all night long on getting into victory lane. And the 2 up through turns 3, feeling confident. There's no longer lap traffic to worry about. It's just about surviving the night for this 2 machine. And Zach, I mean, utter dominance, and this was the race I had circled up for Danny Cochran. It was either win here, or it could be a bust on making the playoffs with the way his season's been going.
You're exactly right, Sam. This is a huge win for Danny Cochran. A dominant stamp on it, too, like you said. I mean, I almost forgot this guy was out here. He has been so fast and so dominant out front with about a 20-second gap. It's been impressive.
Oh no, contact for 2nd place. Christopher Norris trying to jump through turn 4. Norris tried a chance for a pass, and it backfires horribly. He'll fall down to 5th position. And after that contact, it's going to be sending the 2 with a great run. No worries in front. A little bit of a puff of smoke, but who cares? Danny Cochran, excitement has been in the air for tonight. Could it get back into victory lane? And it will be. The classic Duck One Valley Showdown goes to Danny Cochran as he has a little bit of fun off the exit.
Well, that tells you how low grip it is. He just spun that thing around. As Trent jumped, he's going to somehow make it back here to 2nd. Is him and Christopher Norris. Wow, that was wild to see there. I didn't even know what was going on. I saw it in the corner of my eye, and it caught me off guard.
I mean, it was drivers fighting for every little bit. Ryan Bird going to come away with 3rd. 4th goes to Nick Crawford. Christopher Norris, 5th. And as the drivers cross the line, a wild run. But here's a replay of what happened for the battle for 2nd as they were going down into turn number 4. Christopher Norris diving down low, a little bit too much speed than he wanted, goes off the barrels, goes airborne, and makes slight contact in the Trent jump. Both get sideways, jump holds on, and Norris had no chance.
Yeah, looking at that, Sam, I don't think he necessarily was going for a move there. I think he might have just it's a very interesting spot in the track. You're actually shifting from up to 3rd, from 2nd, down to 2nd almost immediately, and you can easily wheel hop there. I don't know if that's what caused that straight launch out to the left here, but I think he might have had a wheel hop scenario and was trying not to hit jump.
And goes down over contact. I mean, you're just carrying too much speed, and the lack of grip as well. I mean, you get on the brakes late in this race, there's no grip to slow down into. You're going to find yourself in incidences like that, and wow, the drama certainly flared up. You knew it was going to come out. We saw plenty of contact on who was going to finish in the top 5, but the only driver that felt none of that real disaster feeling, Danny Cochran, winning here tonight by over 22 seconds, Zach. I mean, this too, the numbers certainly did align for himself here tonight.
Such a dominant performance, Sam, and hey, he can say now, multiple-time winner here at Sonoma, and that's got to feel great, but this could turn the season around for him. We've been seeing those glimpses of speed. We've been seeing those moments. He just got to finish the races out. He finally gets one done here tonight.
Well, we'll talk to Danny Cochran, Trent Jump, Ryan Bird, and a spotlight driver after this. Congratulations to Danny Cochran. It's been 2 full seasons, but he's back into victory lane. We'll be back right after this for the post-race show. We'll see you in a few moments. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISRC Lair Productions Truck Series post-race show for race number 8, the Classic Duck Wine Valley Showdown. Certainly was a showdown for second. No question on who was going to win here tonight. He was the fastest during practice, fastest during qualifying, got the stage win, and won by over 22 seconds. We got ourselves the 2 machine of Danny Cochran. Danny, congratulations. You are back into victory lane, man. How are you feeling?
We're back. Yeah, it only took a season and a half to make it here, but it's great to be talking to y'all once again, man. Holy cow. I mean, I felt pretty good going into Sonoma, and I'm saying this in the most, I don't mean don't brag, but I did not expect that. Like, I was like, okay, Trenton's fast here. Ryan, Nick, all those guys are great road course racers. It'll be a hard fought battle, kind of like Mosport was a few weeks ago. But holy cow, I don't know, man. That's I didn't feel that fast in practice. I thought it'd be a really good battle, and yeah, we finally found a week where we had some speed, and thankfully we were able to capitalize on it.
That you did, Danny. Well, the best way to be out there, stay out of trouble, is just be that fast, man. You were definitely that quick, able to keep yourself up there, buddy. But man, like you said, first win since that championship back at Phoenix. That's got to feel great. But not only that, you're in the playoffs now. How does that feel?
Yeah, so I was before tonight, I was on the outside of the bubble looking in. I was like, dang it, man, we only got a few more weeks. We got, what, tonight? Bristol's coming up, and I think that might be it before the playoffs start. I could be wrong, but, I mean, I knew it wasn't much. We're closing in on the end of the regular season here, so had to shape up or ship out or something, man. And thankfully, we were able to find a little speed tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Danny, last 3 races before the playoffs. We got Bristol, Chicagoland, and Richmond, our next 3 races before the regular season is officially done. You get yourself the win here tonight, but from our point of view, it didn't seem like there was a lot of issues you had to worry about here tonight. But what were those small things that you had to worry about, or issues that you might have felt throughout tonight's race?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you could even call it issues because everybody raced me really respectful. All the guys, you know, they kind of tried to be respectful and understanding of the lead lap cars around them. But I mean, trying to navigate lap traffic a couple times, it got a little, I won't say hairy, but I was watching GT and Dakota battle in front of me, and they have every right to race. But I was like, holy cow, man, this is a little nerve wracking, you know. But other than that, only thing I really had to worry about was like early on, whenever there were a bunch of us up there, pretty close, on track. I was just hoping that nobody overshot a corner or locked them up behind me, anything like that that could possibly hurt me or take me out. Because we've seen, fellas, if it can happen, it will. But thankfully it didn't tonight, and we were able to find our way back.
Found your way back into victory lane. Congratulations, Danny. And before we officially let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout-outs.
You guys, as always, putting on an awesome show. The admins for doing all that they do, and Cody Reed, man. He tried the old Danny strategy of staying out. It was working pretty well for him. And I know he had that group of cars around him, and they were just a little bit faster with fresher tires. It seemed to be working all right. So it was pretty cool to see that. Somebody trying that strategy. Also, all my sponsors, Hall Up Threads, Larry Arts Productions, Race Car Graveyard, Cezone Steakhouses and Mexican restaurants, Mostec Tire and Auto, all these guys that support me and in both my virtual and real racing endeavors. So really sweet having them on the truck tonight and getting them in victory lane. Stoked to be back. And I think that's about it. Like I said, you guys putting on an awesome show, and everybody for running a really clean and respectful race, around me at least. We were able to keep it out of trouble tonight.
That you certainly did. That's going to be your winner here tonight for the Classic Duck Wine Valley Showdown. Congratulations, Danny, and good luck next week.
Thanks, guys.
Well, from victory lane, let's go to second place where the drama starts to mount up a little bit more. Hey, Trent, it's Sam and Zach up in the booth. Congratulations on surviving and getting up to second place, man. How are you feeling after a very up and down type of a night?
Tired and wore out, that's for sure. I love road racing, but I hate Sonoma. I've never been a fan of it. So to come back from getting dumped and finishing second, that's a win for me.
That is definitely got to be Trenton. I mean, I tell you what, you had to fight back from a lot tonight after being spun there and going into the S's, and that was definitely a valiant effort for you, man. And also still coming out here leading the points once again. I mean, how do you feel heading through these final few regular season races to get that regular season title and get you some points added up?
Just gonna keep digging on through like we have been, man. Just knock off points on these tracks where I don't feel I'm the strongest, and just fly under the radar before the playoffs begins. It's just keeping your nose down, just not getting in any trouble, and got into some trouble this week, not from any fault of my own, and came back and got back to him and gave it back to him and ended up finishing second.
I mean, let's go back to that move, Trent, because it looked like you were trying to set up that move for a while. You were able to get pretty easily by Norris. Were you surprised 38 let you go as easy as you did and were allowed you to attack?
Yeah, Norris knows me, and he knew exactly what I was coming back to do. So, he watched me go through this league and all the crap where I went through getting wrecked, and I'm not going to stand up for that kind of stuff. And Ryan wasn't here for that, and hopefully now he knows going forward, because it's not something I'm going to stand for.
Well, you didn't stand for it and allowed you to come away in second place. Congratulations, Trent. And before we officially let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, just want to thank the admins for letting me race in here, you guys for broadcasting this thing. I want to thank my teammates at Armadillo Motorsports, Logan and Eric. They help a lot, whether they know it or not. And I want to thank my painter, Justin at Justin Teal Designs for painting this beautiful truck that I get to race every week.
Well, that's going to be the 46 of Trent Jump. Congratulations on second, Trent, and good luck next week at Bristol.
See you boys next week.
Well, from one gladiator to the next, we head down to third place where we find Ryan Bird in the 49. Ryan, it's Sam and Zach up at the booth. You come away third. I know that wasn't the position you wanted, but man, how are you feeling after tonight's performance?
Feeling good. I just got to figure out how to take care of the rear tires on road courses and these things. That's what killed me tonight.
Orion showed again that the road courses have been your best place so far. 2 third-place finishes for you, Xing out of them. But 3 races left. You came here 16th in points. This has got to be a good gain for you tonight. How you feel entering those last 3 races to try to get into the playoffs?
Yeah, I needed it. Ovals have been a lot of bad luck so far, so hopefully that can change after tonight, but we'll see. I just needed to stack some points tonight to get us into the playoffs, hopefully.
Well, still a solid night overall, Ryan. And with tonight's race, we saw you being aggressive with Trenton to get up into second position, but then you had to hold off all the contact from Norris and then ultimately getting hit by Trenton at the end. How are you feeling like that racing? Do you feel like that's going to move on to next races, or do you feel like it's all going to be squashed and the beef stays here at Sonoma?
I mean, I don't know. He fed me the right rear last week, and I lifted for it, and that's what got me wrecked ultimately. So I decided coming in here, if he chopped my nose like that again, I just wasn't gonna lift, and he seems to not know where his right rear's at. But there's no anger, in there. It's just not gonna lift and get myself wrecked because he wants to chop my nose. And I will say at the end, he didn't make any contact with me. I just locked up with him to my inside. And Norris, there's not many people on the service I'm having more fun racing with right now than Christopher Norris. That dude's come a long way. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, Ryan, awesome race. It was entertaining for us to watch you try to defend and hold off, and ultimately a third place for yourself. Before we let you go, the floor is now yours.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to my girlfriend, Tattoos by Paul on Instagram, and Orchid Moon Tattoo Studios for sponsoring the truck and the league, and appreciate them being on board. This place is awesome. Thank you guys for broadcasting, and thank you to the admins for putting it on every week.
Once again, thank you for a great show, Ryan, and good luck next week at Bristol.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, that's the 49 of Ryan Bird finishing out our top 3. Now let's head down to that of 6th place. Somehow able to hold off the hard charging of Mark Whitley. Comes away with 6 without pitting. Everyone else did. And the 25 comes away with the top 10 run. Cody, congratulations on the top 10 finish. I know you were hoping for a top 5 finish with your strategy of staying out, but man, how are you feeling after tonight's performance?
I'm feeling pretty great. Definitely could have gotten better. I was expecting maybe a top 5, even a top 3. I'd put so much practice into using this strategy. I practiced so much with Danny throughout the week. I probably put a few hundred laps into this race and practicing just that strategy. But it is a lot different in the race. I used up quite a bit more fuel. Whenever I'm practicing, I could even save like to run 41 laps if I wanted to, but that would give me some room to run a lot faster. But I didn't have that in this race. It was just running around people, using more fuel and everything. I ran out of fuel at the line, at the finish line. So it was quite a bit slower. Um, yeah, again, I was hoping for a little bit better of a finish, but I'll take it. 6th place is great. I got some good stage points. I'm the only person other than Danny to lead a lap. Plus, I got some pudding right now. It's really good. So I'm pretty happy.
Well, that sounds like a good time there, Cody, man. But I tell you what, I mean, you talk about running out of fuel right there at the line. I mean, how was the management of that? Like, I mean, was it through the whole race? Did you have bits and pieces? Because you raced guys there through the middle part.
Yeah, it was pretty intense saving. I was, 3rd gear, 4th gear throughout the entire track, the entire race. Outside of the hairpin, I would shift down into second, but then I would short shift coming out of the hairpin, just to uh, save a little bit more gas. There was one single time though I did not do that, and it was because Ryan Bird got to my inside and I wanted to hold him off a little bit longer, much to his dismay. There was one time I blocked him going into the hairpin, and he was scared for his life. But I got back in front of him and by actually just driving it normally, and that was about it for not saving. Every other time I was third, fourth around the entire racetrack. I felt so slow. But actually, like, I was able to hold off people for quite a while. There was a good like 7 laps I held Mark Whitley off, and that was pretty terrifying every single time going into the hairpin. Yeah, it was some pretty intense saving.
Well, it was intense, Cody, but impressive to watch you get it done. Congratulations with 6. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shoutouts.
Yeah, I would like to thank Danny for practicing with me throughout the entire week. Make sure this strategy actually worked, even if it wasn't as great as it was in those practices. I'd like to thank my teammates. I'd like to thank the admins for putting the whole league thing together. I'd like to thank you guys for putting on a great show, and I'd like to thank my biggest supporter, my dad. He was upset last week. I didn't I didn't thank him. So big thanks to my dad.
Well, Cody, again, congratulations on a top 10 finish on making the strategy work, and good luck next week at Bristol.
All right, thank you.
Well, that's going to be the 25 machine of Cody Reed. A solid run for himself, as that's going to be finishing out our interviews for the drivers. Well, let's get ready to look at the unofficial results of tonight's race. Kind of, I would say, up front, a lot of drivers we were expecting to be challenging up front did get the finishes that we were expecting, but the ways they got there were very different from most. But getting the win here tonight is the 2 machine of Danny Cochran in dominant fashion. 22 seconds over Trenton Jump. Ryan Bird going to come away with 3rd. Nick Crawford 4th. Christopher Norris 5th. Cody Reed, it will save the fuel. Never pitted. Comes away in 6th. Mark Whitley missed out on a great qualifying time. He had to start from the tail end of the line, but still finished 7th. Great recovery for the 77 numbers lined up for himself. John Forbes comes in 8th. Joshua Kanata 9th. And finishing our top 10, Tyler Dangler.
Yeah, and as you look through the rest of the order, Anthony Gaudio back there in 11th, and just outside the top 10 for himself. Same for Logan Brakey, was fighting. But really, it was the group from 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th fighting for, and even 14th back to basic Gassi with Eric Stamp included, fighting for those stage points. And they stayed continued throughout the night as GT Rosario comes home in 16th after his incident. Ali Fonseca was involved in one of those first incidents. Halsey, though, out of the race at the very beginning, 39 laps down, couldn't get to the end. So tough breaks for some of the drivers in the back, but man, a race filled with strategy and different paces, and even some beating and banging flaring up.
Certainly a lot of drama piling in, and it doesn't help that we're heading to Bristol as our next destination. How much will tonight's race influence next week? We'll have to wait for that one. But looking at this win, Danny Cochran's win, now 7 different winners in 8 races. Zach, this is looking pretty close to what these last couple of seasons have been like. A lot of different winners, and you never know who really is the top dog at the end of the night.
It's been super competitive, Sam. I'm excited to see how these final 3 regular season races play out, especially because I think you got a pretty good mix there of Bristol, Chicagoland, and Richmond, and those things are going to get mixy, man. It's gonna be a wild ride for these drivers figuring out who's going to be those top 16 going into those playoffs, and I cannot wait to see what happens. I mean, we heard Ryan Bird and Trent Jump. They clearly agreed to disagree on the incident. So we'll see how that heads forward, and a lot of stuff's on the line here for these next 3 weeks.
Who's going to make the playoffs, who's not. These last 3 races are going to be crunch time for some. Danny Cochran should be now bouncing into our top 16 with this win. We do have a couple of other drivers that have won and maybe find themselves outside the top 16, meaning, hey, that cutoff marker is shifting every single week. But speaking about every single week, we got other leagues that we cover throughout the week for ourselves. Coming up next tomorrow night, it's going to be the Full Send Racing Series heading to Michigan in the Xfinity car. Then get ready for a lot of Bristol as the WSSR heads to Bristol in the Gen 4 car. Thursday night, Stars and Stripes are going to be at Bristol, and then right back here next week, Monday night, Bristol once again. So Zach, for Freaking Fast Broadcasting viewers, they better get ready for the last great Coliseum.
That they better get ready for sure, man. That's it's always interesting to see how these things play out. Sometimes how leagues have things scheduled at the same time, and I can guarantee you all 3 of these leagues did not contact each other and plan this out. So it's fun to see how those things align, and we'll get to see, I mean, 2 vehicles of the Gen 4 there, those two go at it. And then, of course, we'll see the trucks back here on Monday night. So we'll get to see 2 different styles of it. But I'll tell you what, the Last Great Coliseum usually never disappoints, maybe for the drivers, but not the fans at home.
Absolutely not. But for tonight's race, it was a pleasure to cover 40 laps at Sonoma, and it was Danny Cochran getting into victory lane. Well, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining with us on qualifying, the race, and the post-race show. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining with me up in the booth was Zach Hall, Robert Moyer Jr. running productions in the background, and for everyone else at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, thank you for joining with us on Monday night. But we will see you tomorrow night. It's the Full Send Racing Series, Xfinity Cars at Michigan. That will be our next Freaky Fast broadcast.